What is going on, my homies? So, jigs catch bigs, right? And in this video, I may anger somebody, and it's one particular person, and you'll find out who that is in a very short period of time. So I like making my own jigs. We did a couple videos on it. I did that Jed jig, that custom finesse ball style jig, and then I did a video where we do some mods and make like a Jed style jig, but use a flat-sided football head for late summer. Absolutely killer, great customizations, great kind of DIY, make your own. Every once in a while though, there's a jig that's pre-made that has such unique components that I can't duplicate, dude. So I actually have to buy a jig out of the package. And I found one, and it's absolutely sick, and there's some very specific reasons why it works from a component standpoint that differentiate it from pretty much anything else out there. And the irony being is, I'm doing it fishing like a drop style jig technique, which involves forward facing, and it's made by the person who hates forward facing more than anybody on the earth. And it's the Randy Blaukat Jig by Cumberland Lures. So Randy's probably not gonna like this video. No disrespect, no hate, but to be totally honest, Randy Blaukat made one of the best forward-facing drop jigs on the market, and I'm gonna show you exactly why. So hit that like and subscribe button for me. Don't get too angry, Randy. Like seriously, this is a compliment, dude. But this jig is absolutely sick. Bro, just slurped it. Like I'm talking like, didn't even feel a bite. And all of a sudden she was there. On the old Randy B jig, baby. Later, honey. I mean, just slurped it. Like no tick, no tap, just reel it down with, I got that fancy like a Boo Garcia reel, and it's like super high speed so it picks up line quick. I just reeled down and picked up the line, whole rod bent over, dude. But that's the art to this, is it's like, it's close quarters, you make some flips, you make some tosses, and it's all about that drop. It's almost like flipping offshore, dude. Let me show you how I rig this thing out. So I get the Monster Bass box, you guys know about it, I put it in the videos before. What I like is I get a bunch of stick baits, dude, and I can never have enough stick baits. So I think last month's came with this guy. It's a vicious stick bait. It's just your standard kind of like 5-inch in green pumpkin. So I'm gonna grab one of those and I'm gonna give it a snip right behind the worm sack. If we were doing this in spring, we'd use maybe like more of a Ned style stick bait or like a cut down stick bait. It has a little more girth to it. It's hot out, dude. I want something a little bulkier. And then all you're gonna do is just build a finesse jig, dude. You're gonna slide that thing on there and get it just right. You gotta remember it's a little smaller hook because it is that 2-aught hook, and get it just like that. It'll mushroom in on the keeper, and that's gonna be our presentation, dude. Let me show you guys how to do this because it's a super cool little technique. So what you're doing with this jig is you're using it like a drop bait, almost like a flipping bait, right? And you can drag it and fish it traditionally, and I actually really like that, especially as we go into winter, especially with this skirt. The skirt is really the magic portion of this bait, as well as that flat spot in the head, if you can see. But here's what I'm looking for, just a suspended fish just like that. And all I'm gonna do is make a short cast, and I'm trying, the water isn't super clear, I'm just trying to drop that bait literally directly through the fish. You see them kind of coming down. We gotta turn it back. But see how they're dropping down to the bait? And then all I'm doing is giving it a shake. Just like I'm like flipping for these guys. If I don't get any kind of reaction, I give up. Now, I've sometimes been able to kind of shake the bait and like make it work, but overall, if they don't go down to and eat it on that initial drop, you're not gonna go like full send, bro. It ain't gonna work out for you. But it's really just hunting around. I'm panning around using that evolution pointer, and then I got that C-stick pointer on there. I'm hunting, and just trying to make as many like high statistical drops like that as possible. You really have to get your casting ranges down, and you need to be pretty good on the old pointing cheating machine. But see how they're all dropping? See how they're all dropping? And then I'm just gonna shake for a second, feel for tension, and they all dropped, and Mike came up with a 0. But it's all about just making drops, and the unique shape of this jig, as well as the fact that when it gets down there, you can kind of roll it a little bit on the bottom, and that skirt flaring out. I think this is an awesome, like, forward-facing finesse jig. Oh, Kakanga Jiga! Oh, that one, I pulled too soon. Bro, never pull too soon. Never pull too soon. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, he went down and ate it. I mean, ate it. He like crushed that jig. I mean, ate it, dude. Absolutely ate it. Oh, that is so freaking cool. That bite is so cool, dude. How about? But yeah, it shworks, boys. It shworks. What a beaut. She crushed it. That one went straight freaking down on it. Later. Oh dear. That's freaking another big one, dude. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh my God, that's a giant, dude. Oh dear, don't come off. Don't come off. Don't come off. Don't come off. Dude, when he went down on it, I'm like, man, that's a big line. Don't do it. Like an 8-pounder, dude. Man. Oh, Randy B. Bro, I am telling you, Randy B's jig is like a forward-facing, like maestro, dude. Like, he ain't gonna be happy about it, but look what it did. Bro, look at the Dogatron. I'm telling you guys, like, this is such a sneaky technique. Bro, dudes, don't sleep on this. I love fishing a jig traditionally, and you can do that with this, and we're probably gonna do it more in fall. But seriously, like, the skirt on this thing, the way it's tied up, that little, like, kind of like slightly smaller but still stout hook, this thing was made for drop jig finesse fishing, dude. Like, looking at him, watch him drop, like, dude, like, this fish just made this giant, it went straight down. It was like in like 2 foot of water, just in like 8 foot, and it just went straight down, bro. Straight down. Holy crap. Let's get her back though. It's warm out. I want these fish to be okay. Look at the head though, dude. I mean, look at that thing. Oh, big thanks to Randy B. Oh God, what a beauty. Fish was pissed. I don't know if he's pissed at me, pissed at Randy B. I mean, all joking aside, dude, he built a sick jig. Like, seriously, that thing is like everything I was trying to build, and then it steps it up like another level. And part of that's my dude at Isaac at Cumberland Lures, he's a jig like fanatic, bro. So he tweaked it. Randy had his ideas. I like this thing. I hate to say it, but like, I absolutely like this thing. I just think it's kind of funny that it's such a good forward-facing jig. Bro, we smashed them. There's something magical about a jig that just gets bigger bites, whether it's like the flare and the size of the bait, or just something about the way it falls and that unique kind of like tumbling, gliding sort of action that it gets. But there's definitely a few things that are unique and, in my opinion, unduplicatable about this jig. And it starts with just the general head construction. I don't know if you guys can see this, but basically it's not just a standard ball head. It looks like that, but there's actually a flat kind of runway on the bottom of this ball head. And what that does is when you're dragging it, a lot of these ball heads, they'll actually kind of flop over, or they'll roll over and they'll fall down, right? You're not getting that contigual or that continual kind of parallel drag, right? So it acts to keep that jig running straight in the orientation that it should. It's not rolling over, it's not falling over. It also helps it to roll over like gravel, roll over stumps, cover along those lines. One of the biggest differentiators, and this is something that I really can't duplicate, I could probably get some skirts in that, but this uses what's called frog rubber. So you can tell it's round rubber style skirt material, and we all know the round rubber is really cool because it actually, it floats up, right? So what's interesting is when you drop this thing down and it actually hits the bottom and stops, unlike, you know, like a silicone skirt that's just gonna stay balled up and just not have that much kind of flaring action, this is going to kind of go, and that's the only way to describe it. It flares out, it stars out, and especially as the water gets colder, that's really when that round rubber, that living rubber kind of is key, because the colder water that you get, the silicone skirts don't kind of do that. They don't have as much undulating natural action as that plastic gets stiffer and stiffer, right? The other thing, and the reason they call it actually frog rubber, is it's ultra fine. This isn't your standard round rubber. It's actually a super fine kind of version of it.
So it's not the big, thick, kind of meaty, girthy strands. It's very kind of like tiny and finesse. So it almost kind of like squid chatters, right? The other thing, and we talk about kind of collars when we're doing the jig making, using kind of that gasket style kind of O-ring instead of the actual collars that break apart. This is actually wrapped. It's really hard to see, but basically thread is wrapped around there, not even wire, but thread is wrapped around there. That also gives it that flaring look. It also holds up a lot better, right? It's not like a rubber collar. It's not like my rubber O-ring. It's not gonna go away and go bad. Actually, the skirt's probably gonna go bad before that threading does. So it's a smaller little brush guard. It's a little bit thinner. I showed you guys when we do that custom build, we actually thin out the jig brush guard a little bit. This one comes pre-done like that. It's a little bit thinner than your standard brush guard. The other thing on this guy is the hook. So one of the biggest complaints I have about the Boss is the hook is super stout, which is awesome for giant fish, but the hook is super stout, right? It's almost like too big, right? This is like a 2/0 standard wire finesse hook. So it really allows you, I'm using like a 15-pound setup. This is a 15-pound fluorocarbon. I got an Abu Garcia Xenon super fancy reel. It's actually a high-speed reel, which is part of the deal, so you could reel up that line really quickly, make another drop, or if there was one on there, you'd pick up line. You probably notice like a lot of times you don't even feel these fish bite, dude. You're reeling up and they're there. Like they suck the jig up. It's a reaction strike. It's a lot like flipping, dude. They go down with it and they suck it right up. 7-foot medium heavy super standard rod, the XD3. It's like my all-purpose utility rod. This is a badass jig. And you don't have to use it just for the forward-facing stuff. I just found it kind of ironic because, dude, it works really well for this drop style, basically offshore flipping style jig technique. I know Randy didn't make it for that, but it's great for it. With the skirt, with the way the hook is set up, it's perfectly set up to achieve that, and it actually works better than the custom one that I make from Boss, unless I need it for ultra big fish. Then that Boss hook does come in handy, but it's a super slick jig, and it also works in more traditional contexts, you know, dragging over wood, dragging over like gravel, stumps, things along those lines. I mean, it's everything like a standard finesse ball head. It does that and it excels at that, but it's definitely different with that frog rubber, with the slightly smaller brush guard, with that smaller hook. It allows you to accommodate some of the smaller baits, and that flat spot on the head definitely makes it behave differently underwater and keeps it a little more true to its action. It's a cool jig. It's hard to differentiate a jig these days. A lot of people make them, a lot of people duplicate them. It's hard to make a jig that's actually unique, and this one is. But I'll put links to it down in the description box and links to the monster bass trailers that we used and that. Let me know what you guys think. If you tried something like it, if you tried Randy's jig and have some experience with it, drop it down in the comments box. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this, dude. We'll see you back out on the water hanging out with Bob, talking fishing.